What? How you doing, brother?
I'm good. How you doing, Z?
Man, I tell you what, man, I'm so glad to see your face, man. I appreciate you, brother. Thanks for coming on.
Hey, man. Anything for you, man.
I,
Anything for you.
I appreciate you, man. Thanks a lot, man. And welcome to the show, folks. It's the Open Discussion Podcast. I have on my I refer to this man as my brother, right? Not my friend, but my brother. You know, we've been knowing each other for what over 20 some years now.
Yes, it's like the late 1900s.
Yeah, yeah. When you was a crazy little corporate, and I was a little PFC. You
Yep.
got to push the gas
Yep.
around the motor pool and all that.
That's that natural camaraderie. Natural
That's what it's all
camaraderie.
about, man. Hey, brother, welcome to the show, man. I had Daryl Webster with me, a good friend and a brother, really. Served 25, well, over 25 years U.S. Army, man. That's amazing. 7 combat deployment. Jesus Christ, man. All I got is 4. You got 7. That is amazing, man. Thanks for coming to the show, brother. I just want to jump right into it.
Uh,
We all joined the military for different reasons, right? I have my own reason why I joined the military, and I know you have your own reason. But if you could just let us know, man, what was the reason why you joined the military? Why did you serve, really?
well, first and foremost, man, giving thanks to the man upstairs, and thank you for having me on this podcast, Z. Um, Graduated in 1989, and I just wanted to leave back home. I want to do something different. My mother had paid for school for my older brother, and I didn't want her to have that financial burden. So I said, I'm gonna join the military. She was not a fan of it, but it was like 2 weeks after I graduated, I joined the army on the delayed entry program, and then because I couldn't enjoy my summer, of course, I got to have my summer, and
Of
then
course.
I left that fall, headed to Fort Sill, Oklahoma, man, and I just wanted to come in the army to pay for my school. That was primarily it. And after I hit my 5th year, I started looking at, man, I'm still enjoying this. And then I hit my 9th year, and I said, I'm going to go ahead and retire. So I did that, a plethora of leadership positions. But my ultimate goal was to get my education, man, because there's one thing that I wanted my mom to see, and she saw that I got my master's degree way before she passed, because she passed when
Yeah.
you and I were in
Yeah.
Afghanistan in
Absolutely.
2012.
Yeah.
That was my final combat tour. But all in all, man, that's why I joined the army, man, for schooling, and fell in love with what I was doing, take care of soldiers, man. So that's basically it.
That's amazing because I remember back in Afghanistan while I was there, you were part of the Sergeant Major Davis, I believe, right? You guys came in
Yep, SFAT.
as fact, out there doing the big boy stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah,
So as we discussed
yeah.
military service, man, I know you serve a different capacity. Retire as a first
Yeah.
sergeant. I mean,
Uh,
that's a huge accomplishment, really. Retire as a first
yeah,
sergeant. And you can went all the way
yeah,
up if you chose to do so, but you decided
yeah.
to transition. So looking
Mhm.
back at your career, sometimes someone conduct a self reflection of myself. Where I ask myself, okay, with all the position, all the assignment I had, which one was the most unique one in terms of position? From section chief, platoon sergeant, smoke man, gun, and first sergeant, and different those special assignment. Which one you say would be your most rewarding position, and why?
Uh, Smoke man, platoon sergeant.
I know you're gonna say that. I know you're gonna say that.
Hands down, see, because when you are a gunnery sergeant, you're the assistant platoon sergeant. When
Yeah,
you're the smoke man, you are the platoon sergeant. When you chief firing battery, you got
you
everybody.
just want to
You
be in
don't need a
charge.
first.
You just want to
Yeah,
be
yeah,
in
yeah,
charge.
yeah,
What it
yeah,
is,
yeah, yeah. You don't need no first sergeant. I got this first sergeant. I got this. No, but that wholeheartedly, still to this day, Z, I still got soldiers calling me and telling me, "Hey, Smoke, thanks for being the way you were with me, man. It's transitioned me out here in the world." All of them got families and stuff now, man.
yeah.
And it makes my heart feel good because it never did it for, we don't get paid a lot, man. I think that's what set us up for success out here in the world. We get more done with less, if that makes sense. And
Yeah.
platoons, smoke man, all day long because of the the playing field, because you can maneuver, plug and play. It's almost like chess, man. Not wanting to play with people's bodies like that, but it's almost like chess. You got to strategically put people where they need to, where they can grow. So that hands down the best position, you know.
Yeah, I fully agree with you, man. Because for me, my platoon sergeant time, most of it was doing deployment. You know,
Yeah,
when I was a gunnery
same here.
sergeant, and then I took over as platoon sergeant and got deployed, came back, did some time, and I went and did something else. You were
Yeah,
absolutely right, and I think one time we came down to for Salerno, you had what's his name? The '06 you had we had lunch with Colonel
Colonel Tim Sullivan, man.
Sullivan.
He was
S-
my battalion commander, man, when I was a first sergeant. Because I had diamond time before you and I met up again in
Yeah,
Alaska. He was my battalion commander, man.
That's
Awesome dude,
amazing.
man.
That's amazing.
Amazing
So,
human, man.
so speaking of Sullivan Rapid, I saw exactly how you speak very highly of him, and I think you
Mm-hmm.
can agree to this sentiment that at every position we serve in, there's along the way there is somebody, no matter if it's a CNI commissioner officer or just an officer that had a profound impact on you. Who will you say, some folks along the way? Because for me, I was pretty lucky, right? When I first came to Bragg, down 82nd, and I
Mm-hmm.
had some folks that had a very profound impact on me, from
Yeah.
section chief to platoon sergeants and the first sergeants and then sergeant major and all the way up to where I ended up retiring. So along the
Mm-hmm.
way, who are some folks? I mean, you don't have to call them a specific name, right? But I mean, maybe from a leadership standpoint, folks who had a profound impact on you. Who you say was some of the folks that had an impact on you?
I still communicate with this one individual to this day, man. Back then, Captain Patrick Gayden, now Lieutenant General Gayden, out at USAPAC, man, out in
Man,
Hawaii, man. Still to this day, he hits me up very, very randomly, man, because he tackled me during a football game,
there we
and he
go
always
again.
brings that. He always brings it up, man, whenever he's talking. He said someone sitting in that capacity can reach back, and he's still in that, still doing his thing with soldiers, man. And
Yeah,
him, DeWanzik, and Tim Sullivan, man. Colonel Sullivan was the captain back then when I was at Fort Drum, and he was a battery commander. So we met before, and then he ended up being my battalion commander. I was a staff sergeant. He ended up being my battalion commander when I was a first sergeant, and then we saw in a different capacity in Afghanistan when he was a full bird colonel.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? See how that works, man? Good people, man. And I've been blessed. I've been blessed. And those three guys I called just then, hands down, man, the best command. Man, Captain Jenkins, Major Jenkins retired, another phenomenal leader, hands down. And it's a crazy story, but I'll get into it later. Why I had to say something about him,
Oh, okay. I tell you,
Major Jenkins.
I tell you, gonna see you put hands on them or something. Just want to verify, make sure you put hands on folks
No,
out the web,
no. Jenkins, no, that's the commander before Jenkins was one. He seemed like he wanted to get it, but Jenkins came to us mid deployment in Afghanistan, and I had a beard, and I told you about this. I was out there with the SF on
Yeah,
5 Cobra, and they said, "Hey, grow your beard." And the other commander didn't like that we were out there by ourselves, and
of
as
course.
the platoon, the fire platoon asset for the special forces for that year. And Jenkins came out there and said, "Hey, Smoke, nice beard." And we were cool ever since. And Jenkins and I met in OAF 1. And OAF, he was a first lieutenant, and I was a staff sergeant. So we had history already.
Man,
Awesome, man. So those are the ones, those guys, man, hands down, man.
that's amazing how you can go back and really record, all the folks who have this impact on you. And I tell folks, man, and the army is, well, not just the army, right? The military overall is a very, very dynamic place to be because it's an organization that consists of folks from all walks of life, from all over the globe, right? And you
Yeah.
come across some real good leaders, man. No matter the officers, the CNI commissioner officer, or just our DoD civilians, right? Those folks have a very, very profound impact on you, and
Yeah.
and I'm trying to just think about how 7 deployments, right? Combat deployments. You did 7 deployment, brother. How were you able to navigate through all this deployment? Because every deployment is different, right? Because you have some stuff back in the I think the Civil War. I think it was your first deployment, right? No, from
You
Desert
always know.
Storm, from Desert Storm, Desert Syria to
Yeah.
Afghanistan over Iraq. I mean, that's not
Yeah.
not to even include all that operation you did, right? To Cuba and
Yeah.
different places, right? But 7 combat deployment, because I know the level of stress that deployment brings to
Yeah.
you, and each one of them is different, just the
Yeah.
stress level and everything else. How were you able to go through all the deployment and how you believe those deployment have shaped you for who you are?
First off, if I get emotional, forgive me.
I got you, brother. I got you. I got you.
All right.
I got you, man. I understand.
I thank God I'm still here. I
Yeah.
really do. I
Yeah.
thank God I'm still here.
Yeah.
Hold on a minute.
Take it down,
Z,
man.
you got me, man.
No,
You
no, because
got me.
we had all this discussion in the past, man. And I know you're a very, very, very caring person, you know. Very, very caring
All right.
person, all that stuff.
Let me see. a lot of stuff, man. Because one that hits me is Philippe,
Yeah.
my platoon sergeant, when he got killed. So
Yeah.
it always takes a toll on me, man. I had to get back in the right animal thought. But moving forward, um, these deployments, man, put a toll on you. And I heard this phrase when we retired, and people say, "Oh, it must be nice."
Yeah.
And when I do my videos every day, I talk about this. What comes with that phrase? It must be nice. I said, don't think about the birthdays, the births of being born of your children, the
Yeah.
anniversaries missed, the funerals of loved ones you can't be there. Um, a lot of things, family events that you can't make because you're deployed. But quotation, it must be nice. So um, I was in Korea in '92 when I lost my father. We didn't have a real close relationship, but I stayed in the army. And again, it must be nice. So moving forward, all these years, man, when I lost an OF1 man, Smoke Vladimir Philippe, Sergeant Class Vladimir Philippe, and his driver, PFC Kevin Ott. And this is why it hits me in my heart every time, because June 25th, 2003 changed my life forever.
Mm.
I've been around a lot of death growing up. But during these deployments, man, it channels something else. It's like a switch went on. And people are like, man, it's like you left something over there. No, I have a job to do. But
Yeah.
again, it must be nice. Being there, and Philippe got murdered and Ott got murdered. And I had the honor to bring Philippe's body back. And I talked to his 12-year-old son, Cassidy. Cassidy was 12, man. Imagine 12 years old and your dad's not coming home.
Mm.
So that's why it hit me in my heart. And I'm talking to his whole family. My wife, then girlfriend, flew from Fort Sill down to Delaware and got on the hearse, and we drove to New Jersey to where Philippe was laid to rest. We did the wake, met the family and all this good stuff, man. And the funeral was it's just hard as it is to even think about it, man. But I tell you, I felt so much honor because the family came to me and they said, man, they asked me, Webb, are you okay? Because they know how Philippe, as my platoon sergeant, and I was his first section chief, he was my best friend. We never let our relationship get in the way of work. When he had to chew my behind, he chewed. Best believe. But he had this thing said. He said,
Yeah.
"Well, if my name's on it, he's a Haitian guy. If my name's on it, it's not going to be messed up." And you know, when we say jacked up, squared away, it's always squared away when Philippe's name is on it. So I take pride in knowing that I did everything I could to make him proud, but at the same time keep his legacy, man,
Yeah.
on the standards and discipline that I learned from him, you know. But through those deployments, man, um, that's why I think I share a lot of people with a lot of people being transparent. They were each different.
Yeah.
I never promised my guys from section chief to platoon sergeant, the first sergeant, three different facets, man, three different leadership positions set across the span of 7 different combat tours. One, a couple as a joke. That was OF1. I mean, Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
You know, and I've seen it all, man, from the Joe's perspective to the higher echelon. And that's why when I hear people talk on wars and stuff, I say they just don't know, man. There's nothing nice about it. And you were there on my last one when I got the call about my mom passing. You didn't know February before my mom passed, my grandfather died.
Yeah.
But I couldn't go back home. But I went to go bury my first love, my mom, man. So that's why I look at things and I take it wholeheartedly when people say, man, it must be nice to be retired. You don't know what came with that price of must be nice. And we sign our lives away with a blank check. Sorry to get elongated, but it's a kind of touchy thing to me, Z. Because we love a country. Hear me out. We love a country that don't love us back the same, man. You know, we don't look and take sides in that. We do our job to the
Yeah.
fullest capacity. And that's why I love so big, very, very passionate about life. And man, so thankful for people like you, man, that keep me level headed, because you know I'm a hothead. So keeps me straight, man. And I can tell you, my heart is full. I'm very appreciative and thankful for the life God has given me. And you get tested, but you stay the course. And I tell you, it's something to think about. I think if everybody stepped out the normalcy and looked at their life, and that's why it's so emotional, because you got to look at your life.
Yeah.
We're not supposed to be there. We're not supposed to be here, Z. We are not supposed to be here. We're not supposed to be here, but we are, because we're on borrowed time. It just wasn't our time to not make it back. So we have to continue to make an impact, man. So,
I appreciate you, man. Yeah, I appreciate
Ah,
you because a lot of folks, don't understand really what it is to serve, and I have a high level of respect for every man or women that put on a uniform, raise their hand to serve, defend. It's not. It's a lot that goes into it, man. There's a lot of sacrifice that goes into it. You know what I'm saying? Just want to segue into the whole family piece, right? Because as a
yeah.
service member, your family played a huge role in you being successful at what you're doing. You're out there serving. By the
Oh
end of the
yes.
day, so far, your spouse or kids, whatever, they're going through the same process, right? For all the deployment, the level
Yep.
of stress. You know what I'm saying? I
Yep.
know my sister over there, and she been keeping you straight.
Oh yeah.
How did you balance all of that? The family, the military life, and constant deployment, the PCS move, and everything else. How do you manage to balance that?
We getting ready to hit 20. We just hit 23 years being together, man. And
And she's still with you this long?
yeah, yeah. Our anniversary is next month.
That's
Our
amazing,
marriage
man.
anniversary is next month. But we've been together 23 years, man. But I tell you, she's a hard one, man, because she's very soft spoken. Her face will tell you how she feels before her words do.
Yeah.
She's a Texan through and through, man. Love of the life. But she's very her background. She did 3.5 years in the army. So
Hmm.
she was like S1, the higher echelon S1 at admin. So she knows how to keep things straight. She loves that structure. So it wasn't too hard, but the part that gets me, man, is she gets it. She knows when to ask me if I'm okay, this and that. And she knows I carry seems like the weight of the world on my shoulders sometimes because
Yeah.
as men, provide and protect, and you have to nurture. A lot of people take out nurturing from men. You're not supposed to because you have your father role. But she, man, she should be. She's a catalyst for, hey, I can do this. I can do anything I set my mind to, and I'm proud of her in so many different ways. I love her to life. She handles business because from the FRGs, which she didn't like it to be a part of, because she said it's always like catty. Because people are like, oh man, first time wife, and then like she don't really get into it. She allows the ones that want to do it, do it. The young soldier's wife, I'll take care of this, Miss Webster. This and that. She's like, okay. But Ann is she's a good one, man, because she looks at everything full values, family oriented, and keeps the kids straight. And she'll let me know if something's going on. And just a team, man. We believe in the team effect. Together, everyone achieves more. And I know it sounds kind of cliche, but it really does because you have to have the communication. And we both communicate. Communicate. We comprehend. We don't communicate and say just to respond. I listen to comprehend everything she says. So understanding that you've got to do, and that people always say, oh, you got to do the right thing. Just listen,
Yeah.
But I listen to her a lot, and she, you met her, you know how she is. I know you wonder like why she with you. This, I don't know, man.
I'm trying to figure it out,
She's the
man.
best. Don't worry. She said you her favorite person too,
I'm a
man.
favorite
That was my
person.
favorite person. I said, yeah, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
same here,
yeah,
man.
man.
Same
Yeah,
here.
my,
Though
my
it's
daughter
it's
always say, man, there's no. My daughter always talks about you, man, but it's, it's crazy, man.
That's my little daughter, man. Yeah, it always
Yeah,
amazes me the role that the family plays, right? They call it military family, military spouses, whatever the case may be. And
yeah,
no matter how you look at it, man, we have to give them a lot of credit. I know it is been provided to them, but for folks who don't understand what it is to be a military spouse, a military family, just imagine. I was on the phone with a friend of mine not too long ago. His son
mm,
and his daughter have changed school 8 times over his career.
uh,
The constant PCS
whew,
move, whatever the case may be, and how do you manage that, right? Of
yeah,
course, it would help the kids to be very, very resilient because just the changes and stuff like that. But sometimes it can have a huge impact, and I gave the military family, huge, huge respect for the role they
yeah.
play to allow folks to be able to serve.
You, man, you said you hit the nail on the head. So when we moved to Alaska, the big portion, and I know when you had Samuel and them over there, moving from Fort Sill to Alaska to Texas when I retired and stuff, and her going to different schools, and the different teachers. And for the longest when I first retired, they called her Alaska. Alexis was born in Oklahoma, but because we spent those years in Alaska, that's all they knew is like because she played basketball and volleyball, and they said, "Oh, we got Alaska on our team when we got here to Texas, man." And of course, she get ready to be 25 in September, man. That's crazy,
Man,
crazy work.
man,
But I tell you,
man.
yeah, kids and Devin's getting ready to be 26. Yeah, but that's crazy, man. I tell you, Z man, the kids are very, very resilient. You saying that they have to be resilient, man. And we don't get the chance, especially positions we've been in. We didn't get a lot of chances to have them with us. So I took Alexa and them to my work a couple of times, man. I was at Fort Sill when I was first started. She told her mom, she said, when I walked in, they said, at ease. And everybody snapped with it. She thought it was funny. And I still to this day, I told her the other day, I just laugh about things like that because she got to experience that, but it's crazy, Z. Man.
I wish we had
Woo!
Phil. I wish we had Phil over here, man. We've been discussing back at PFAR, back in Alaska, 3 first sergeants, and I mean, I know I was the best first sergeant. I know that. You know,
No.
I just want to make that clear to you guys and stuff. No, but one thing that I saw, right? What one thing that I saw, and that was
uh,
very made me. I was very humble. Was at your office because I think you were a floor ahead of me. I think I was in the basement, and I think you HSB was a little bit. I think once first floor. I think right.
yeah,
Yeah. And I should take the back door to come up there to see
yeah,
what's going on. And every time I come by your office, there's always a line of soldiers
yeah,
sitting out waiting to talk to you. You know what I'm saying? It did
yeah,
something to me, right? I said, okay, there's a reason why I want to talk to them. And I used to see you every day working
yeah,
late,
yeah,
talking to soldiers.
yeah.
You know, how would you describe the role of the first sergeant? I mean, I know it's been a couple of years since you transitioned, and I know you served as a first sergeant,
10,
different times, whatever,
10,
10,
10
10
years.
years.
It's been
Yeah,
10 years.
I know how you did it. I can't do it. I know how you did it.
Yeah, 10 years.
I mean, but a lot of things have changed, right?
uh,
How would you describe the role and overall impact, and how did you went about being a successful first sergeant?
Lee, I could tell you in a nutshell, man, we are the surrogate parents. Those are somebody else's child, man, and we have to nurture them. We don't put them across our knee and all that good stuff. We have to talk to them and listen to them. We can't just be sitting there using whatever we can to segue to get our point across. We have to listen. Because we listen to our own kids, we're the surrogate parents. So when they bring their issues, man, I don't want to never turn a person away. I think when I went to Audie Murphy when I was a Sergeant E5, they said you never turn a soldier away and never tell a soldier to go over there. You take them to do certain things to get things done. So everybody has different things going on. I would call my wife first and foremost, hey, babe, I'm a little bit late. I got some soldiers need to talk to me. Because we're busy throughout the day also with the mission at
Yeah,
hand. Accomplishment mission and the welfare of the soldiers. So if I'm accomplishing the mission, I got to take care of the soldiers too. And I know it got to my other brother first. So I was like, man, I ain't got time for that. I made time because it's one thing about it being the first on. It's called the first on for a freaking reason. They look up to you. You are the father figure of that unit, and the buck stops with you. Everybody know the battle commander. He ain't in charge. He policies and all that good stuff. We know that we talked about that.
he's
Z.
a commander, man. He's a commander. It's an FA commander or
Hey,
NI commander, whatever it is. He's
hey,
responsible for
hey,
everything.
hey.
So he's in charge of something.
Yeah, he's in charge of something. Them MREs over there. I got to. Nah, I have some great commanders, man. But the reason I did it, Z, is you're a surrogate parent, man, and they look up to you for a reason, and there's a lot of responsibility. And I'm glad you asked that question, Z, because how many calls do you think I get now for the people that had transitioned their or either they were private back then, but they either started for classes, first on, so some of them going to the academy now, and they still call the deal double G to ask the question about what would you do in this thing. Still to this day, I
That's
had three
amazing.
today. But there's a reason because they say it's changed so much. And they always try to get rid of people. I said, man, there can be some soldiers that are leadership challenges. But if you say, I'm going to just kick this soldier over there, quick story, got to uh, Fort Polk, right out of OF1, left there, man. I was a platoon sergeant, a second chief, and I went to be a gunnery sergeant. And there was like 15 guys, no weight program when I got there. And everybody knew I was master fitness. I got this unit. Z, imagine you get to a unit, you're taking over this platoon as a platoon sergeant, gunnery sergeant, and you got 15 guys in the battery total, and they just
Mm.
hand you over the continuity book of master fitness because they know you school trained or whatever. How you have 15 in the battery that are on the edge of getting kicked out?
Yeah. Overweight
That's a
program.
failure. That's a failure of leadership. I take my time, 5 o'clock in the morning, line these guys up and say, hey, y'all come to the gym with me. 30 minutes I have them with me. Then we go back to PT. After that, I weigh and tape them. Once a week, I weigh and tape them. Every last one of them came off the overweight program, and they stayed off
Mm.
because you have to show them that you care. If I'm 15 10 or 15 years older than you. Right now, I'm 54 years of age. And at that time, I was 30 something. And they were like, man, ain't no way Gunny going to be beating me in the ground, running me in the ground. I care. You cannot do anything with God's gift, your vessel. You have to have a mindset and throughput to say, hey, I care about you. It's going to hurt. We're going to
Yeah.
get you right, man. We train soldiers for a reason. Look, we're a massive force. Why not
Oh
train, man? You still
Lord.
sweating? I don't know, man. That's what I think, Z. That's what I think, man. That's why I think that, man. But I tell you, I can go down a rabbit hole with that, man, because I love soldiering, man. I love soldiering, every aspect of it. Because if you just talk about it and you never did it, you not understand it.
Yeah.
As leaders, like I know, to be a leader, it's hard sometimes, man, because you got to give the unpopular opinion that a lot of people don't like. But those are orders that were given to you. You got to follow those orders too.
Yeah.
And people are like, man, if I were you, you not me. You
Yeah.
can't make that decision.
That's
Good
amazing, man,
Lord,
because
man.
you're absolutely right, right? You have to care. I tell folks it's all about the soldiers. It's all about the soldiers. And I think when we was in Afghanistan, for me, I know you probably, you can attest to this so far. For
Yeah,
me, I do believe a success of a first sergeant depends on his or her relationship with those platoon sergeants, his commander, the battalion
absolutely.
CSN, the battalion command team. So I was very fortunate,
Absolutely.
as my short time being the first, I was very fortunate to have some outstanding platoon sergeants. And
Yeah,
the relationship we had went a long way. Some
yeah,
didn't couldn't stand my guts while deployment, but at the end of the day, I had to
yeah.
work to do it right. But at the end of the day, they
Yep,
understood exactly it was all about taking care of soldiers for the mission. But one thing that I can say that the platoon sergeant that I had was very proficient,
yeah,
very very intelligent guys, and
yeah,
they made my job easy for me. No, not sure if you if
yeah,
you if you if you experienced that so far from the
yeah.
time you started the first song for 10, 15, 20 years. What is that relationship like, and what would be some advice you send out to guys and girls who currently in first round positions?
Um, just let to your platoon sergeant, man. They gonna take care of you. I got to say in our neighborhood, neighbors make the neighborhood good and or bad. I take that to say they use that as a segue. Same thing with platoon sergeants. Platoon sergeants make the unit good and or bad because it could be good for you. You don't have to do a lot of work. You just take what they got, or they can just be looking at you like, I don't know what to do first. So I'm like, I don't
Yeah,
need you. So I'm very fortunate. I'm glad. I know your platoon sergeants. I know yours very well. They were freaking awesome. Yeah,
there's some good
yeah, they
dudes,
were
man. There's
awesome.
some good
Yeah,
dudes.
they were, man. That's why I started majors now.
There's some good
Yeah,
dudes.
but the ones I had, man, I got one of them. He's getting ready to retire, man. Castro, awesome dude, man. A few of them already retired. Castro, CSM about to retire and stuff. But these guys say, hey, first all, I got it. And when they say that, I'm gonna go check up behind them every so often until I do a screenshot, and make my mini movie, and say I can count on this guy. Their credit is good with me. But if you tell me I got it and you drop a ball over here, another ball, your credit shot with me. So I got to check behind you, Saj. I got to check behind you.
Check for
Um,
verify, right?
good Lord. Yo.
So the
The
same
tunes
question
are,
goes
man.
the same question goes along the same line, right? Because
Yeah.
I've seen first times where they and their commanders didn't get along. For some reason, it makes things
I
very, very
witnessed that.
complex, very, very difficult so far. So what was your relationship? And do you at any time as a first time you had any commander who you didn't get along with, and if that, how do you guys kind of went through to navigate that space to where you guys can make sure that the battery is on the right path?
Um, I've had a couple of commanders that did not see eye to eye with me, but then they saw what I was doing and said, man, you got this. I'm going to step in my lane because very basic when you get to a unit and they had a sergeant first class non-promotable in a position and before you got there, and then you the new first round come in with a plan of attack, and you got your blinders on, and this captain has been doing the job of the first round, helping the active first round with nobody guiding him because he was
Yeah,
a senior in SEAL but switched over. You know what I'm saying? Switched over to be an officer, and now he's a battery commander, and he has a sergeant class, so he's running them. Until I got there, and we ended up being good friends, man, because he said, "Top, we got to go to eat or something." We did lunch, and it's a communication because he didn't know where I was coming from. He knew I got off the line. I'm a war fighter, and he understood.
yeah,
Now we got along well after that because we broke bread and all this good stuff. He said our family dynamic. So we met each other's families and like we got more in common than a little bit. We both worked out well and we just saw eye to eye on a lot of things when you communicate. Now the commander that came in after him, totally different because it was like very nonchalant. Oh, this is what I want to do. Oh, first line has it. Never checked up anything because I was squared away. So he didn't really have to check. But I brought him in because whenever the colonel, the battalion commander, asked, "What's your plan of attack?" Well, first line, what we got? That list looks bad. So I didn't want to make him look bad because it makes all of us look bad.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the commanders I've had, man, they just listen. They say whatever first line say. I was like, oh, this is gonna be good.
That's the best feeling, right? Commander have trust in you. But I mean, I think that that that
yeah,
that relationship goes along with it, right? It goes along with it because soldiers see exactly what's happening, and I think from what I've seen so far, I think sometimes non-commissioned officers don't understand their role. You have the commander. The commander have
yeah,
commander authority. You have non-commissioned officers who have general authority. You don't have commander
yeah,
authority. At the end of the day, the commander is
yeah,
who's in charge of the organization. But as the saying
yeah,
goes, right? The first sergeant, the NCO runs the day-to-day operation of the organization.
yeah,
But I
yeah,
think that, like you stated so far, that communication has to be there. The commander has her vision. Our job is to execute that vision, but to make sure that we
yeah.
give that commander an objective as far as advice and counsel, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
And one thing that
Deep.
I hated is first sergeants of seeing non-commissioned officers. I mean, at the time, major rate, right? Saying, I just want to add on
Yeah.
what the commander said. Don't add on what the commander say. I mean, what do you have to say? You know what I'm saying? It was something else.
what is you doing?
Yeah. It was
I,
something
I,
else.
I'm glad the caveat off of what you said. I'm glad you had the community skills with the commander you had in Afghanistan, man. That's hilarious.
That's my
Because he
man,
was a
man.
kid and he listened to you. He said,
Dan
whatever my
Fichette.
first son say.
That's my
And,
man,
and
Dan
that's why
Fichette.
he's successful now.
Yeah.
Yep, that's why he's successful now, man. But he
Yeah.
said, hey, whatever first son say. Because I walked up on that conversation, I'm like, I said, I like this. But speaking on why the two entities have to be as one, because you ever heard this phrase, man, mom and dad fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Mom and dad are the commander and the first son, and
First
they
time, yeah.
fight the kids. The kids are the ones that, yeah, you know what I'm saying? And that's why you have to be a united front. And like I know, man, behind closed doors, you talk. Just like in a marriage, man, you communicate, but you don't come out and be restless in front of the kids because the
No,
kids know.
never.
So your soldiers know what's going on,
Yeah,
you know.
never.
So I'm glad
Yeah.
you used that, man. I'm glad you used that, Z.
Yeah, it was cool. I had I think after Fichette, I had my boy Dana LaFerrier. He's a battalion commander now. Another outstanding officer. I
Oh yeah,
spoke
yeah,
to him
yeah,
not too
yeah,
long
yeah.
ago. Sharp
That's
kid.
my dude, man.
Yeah,
That's my
that's my
dude,
guy.
man.
That's my guy. So I
Yeah,
mean, so sometimes you just get lucky, right, to have good officers. Not saying all officers are bad, but you got some officers who just hard headed,
yeah,
right? It's all about me, 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 me,
yeah,
me. But for me, my experience,
yeah,
I had two guys who
yeah,
was all about organization and all about taking care of soldiers. So
yeah,
just to segue into another conversation here, another discussion point. You did 25 years, and then from there you had a transition. You took upon yourself. You say, something. I'm put my family first. I'm going to transition. I want to go into the
yeah.
transition space for you because for me, I had a terrible transition. Not because the army screwed me up, because I didn't
Uh huh.
plan properly.
Yeah,
I got up one day and
yeah,
I say, I'm
yeah,
done. Turned down an assignment, and I went to retire.
yeah,
So I did not plan properly when
yeah.
you choose to serve for life. The SFA tab the entire process. For the matter of fact, when I transitioned, it was during COVID, so everything I did was all remote. You know what I'm saying? All virtually.
Yeah. Yeah.
And transitioning can be very, very difficult considering you've been doing something for over 20 years. Now you have the transition pivot into the civilian sector that
Mm-hmm.
you're not that familiar with. So how was your transition? How did you navigate that? And what were some things you said you kind of struggled with and some things you think you did pretty well?
Communicative skills, I'm pretty good because of probably I'd say all the schooling, college or whatever, man. But I tell you, just to understand the civilian sector, man. We went through all the stuff, the Soldiers for Life transition or whatever. Did all that stuff, man. Got my suits, my expensive suits. Had my not my 60-second infomercial for myself. Had this down, did the interviews, and I got ahead. It wasn't like that. There were a lot of people out here that are just not professional.
Yeah.
We as the service members, man, we're so professional and disciplined in our craft. We know how to communicate. You get out here in the civilian sector, man. It's disheartening because my first job, and I told you about this. That's why I say I'm never going to lie and say, "Oh, it was easy, it was a breeze." Because financially speaking, I did plan. Um, Mentally speaking, I didn't plan for the abrasiveness that I was going to receive from the civilian sector. Because they thought, "Oh, this guy retired, he got it good." And it goes back like it must be nice.
Yeah.
I know you think what I did there, and all that comes back like a lot of emotions. missing my soldiers, and the structure. That's the big takeaway from a lot of things that's a struggle out here. Because we've been structured. Think about a quarter of a century of your life. You got this structure. You do PT in the morning. You take a shower, come back, go to work, have formation. You have formation to give information share process. And then you go to work. And then you call work, call formation to whatever else going on. Then you release the soldier. You still got work to do. It's not that in the civilian sector. I worked as a dock manager at FedEx, my first job. I retired February 2015 and started working as a dock manager at FedEx downtown Houston, man. Culture shock. Oh, he's not. Who does he think he is? They say that's our dock manager. Well, I'm not doing that. All these attitudes because nobody has structure and work ethic. So that's what that was a struggle. And that's the big takeaway, man. And understanding the mannerisms. You can't explode on it. Like, come here, you. Ain't none of that. None of that. Because you raise your voice. Civilians not used to that. Like, who do they think they're talking to? They want to go fisticuffs with. They don't want none of that, though. They don't want that. But it's crazy, man, because you really have to think about the things you do and how you talk to people.
Yeah.
And people have this, military has this big dark cloud over his head on communication. But I advise people, I said, we're probably the best communicators because of the people we have, the vernacular, man. We understand people from different walks of life and know that, hey, this is how I need to talk to this person. That alone and knowing the people, when you have a plethora of people, it's easy for knowing soldiers, their background. It's different in the civilian sector. Because I think that's one thing I struggled with because I don't know who's from who, what part of town. And they'll go off the deep end and you're looking like, man, I didn't say anything to this person. And the same, my verbiage stayed military. I said, you got issues? Get a hold of your freaking emotions. That was my big thing, everything. And you know, Z, when soldiers come in there, well, first one, he said, hey, calm down. Get a hold of your freaking emotions. Can't say the civilian sector, man.
Nah.
They they go to what's the HR?
Yeah.
This is what he said to me.
That's crazy though, because as that my transition, as I stated, my transition was not planned properly. I had to learn pretty quick that regardless of the level of experience you have and what kind of degrees you have so far, it's a different place, right? I call not know the unknown because now you operate in a different operation environment that you're not that familiar with. But as a military, you've been trained to somewhat adapt. I'm saying overcome and do the things that you're supposed to be doing. But I wish I would have set the condition properly, meaning prior to me getting out, because as I say, it was not planned. I got up and I say, it's time for me to transition after 23 years. And the Army has, under the Air Force and every other branch, has the transition program they went through so far. I went through the transition program. Like I said, again, was it, pretty good? At the time, it was okay. It was 3 years ago. It was okay, but I think now it's gotten much better now as far as I'm concerned, what I've been hearing from other veterans and stuff like that. Uh, uh, so after you transition so far, right, and then you move back, to Texas, how did the family, because that's a key element of the whole process as well, right? The family have to transition now. And how did the family handle the whole transition piece?
Well, the wife enjoyed it. I think the kids had to get used to me being home all the time, and the wife was like, she wasn't used to me being all the time because early morning doing what I'm doing, man, my workouts, all this good stuff, and she just looked at me one day and she said, man, this is nice. I don't have to be running around like a chicken with my head cut off.
Yeah.
Take the kids to school and all this good. I said, no, I got it. Lay down, have your coffee. I got it. And it's you still need your space. You still got to give your spouse their space, and you got to have yours, and still be able to communicate and understand. Like, hey, you're retired now. Now you're in the space that they had when the kids are going to school, wide open. Now you're there in that footprint, and then you guys like, hey, so what are you doing today? You have to peek. We went through this whole transition, man. And my wife is crazy because she said, man, I wonder what he got planned today. Because I always like to plan to do stuff. Transition. I tell you, Z, to take it back on planning, if wholeheartedly you plan on retiring, I say give it at least 2 years.
Yeah.
2 years to properly plan because it's a big step. It's a big step. And like I know, man, I know when we talk on something later on, you'll see why we are where we are, the things we talk about, man, in our life. Because when I first retired, I wasn't as calm as I am right now. It's been 10 years.
Absolutely.
But I worked 2 different jobs. I work two different jobs. Cause you see me on, we talk all the time, so you know, I'm very transparent with you, man. And I just know I'm blessed 10 times over, man. It takes time, but my wife, she transitioned a whole lot better than I did
Yeah,
because again, she got out of the army a long time ago, and she just loved the fact that I'm here all the time now to do the things that she used to do. Because the household stuff, man, that just keeps me straight, man. It gives me another way, another vice.
that's a full time
Cleaning,
job, man.
cooking,
She got eyes.
it
That's a
is.
full time job, brother. You know,
Oh, managing me,
that's a
managing
full
me. That's
time
a full.
job. You got to pay some extra money for that. You know, I've been knowing you for a long time, man,
Yeah,
and I understand your commitment, right, to giving back to the community and helping folks
yeah,
and try to provide
yeah,
advice. Into myself, I call you. We talk all the time, and it's
yeah,
important to have that. I call your personal ecosystem, right? Folks you can call
yeah,
once in a while to have
yeah,
that conversation because you have transitioned from the military where you have friends and colleagues you talk to on a daily basis. Now you
yeah,
transition. Now the system you have changed. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? And as you talk about so far, you got folks who call you daily to give different advice and different assistance. How do help in terms of your mental state and staying physically shape, physically in the right space? Because you're always giving. How do you help yourself really, what I'm saying, to take care of your mental state?
See this treadmill behind me?
Hey, I've just been used for the last 2 years. You've been
I,
using that
no,
treadmill.
no, every day, dude. Every day, man. You know how I am, man. If I'm gonna talk about it, I gotta look about the looking part. But seriously, though, Z, um, when they call, man, I talk to them. I have to decompress a lot. Because first and foremost, when they call, hey, I got a question. I said, first off, be kind. How am I doing? How are you doing? How's your
Yeah,
day so far? Oh, good. This and that. Because I want to get them in a calm state. Because if you're high in your emotions, you're not going to communicate effectively. Because I want to know the root of the problem. Is it a you problem or is it them? Or is it both of you all? No communication. So hearing different, and they're only issues when you don't really have the throughput. I said, what's the first thing you need to do? I said, when you're doing the decision making process, first off, take your emotions out because it's not a part of the decision making process.
yeah,
Oh, yeah, you're right. And they're laughing. I'm not, no, I'm freaking serious. Because if we get heated 10 times out of 10 times, we're not making the right decision. Notice I said 10 times out of 10 times. That's why it's not a part of the decision making process. Um, Everybody has a way of doing things, man. I just listen. And people got a lot to say, but I said, man, the way you're telling me this and you communicate with your commander, they don't want to listen. How do you know? Is it your delivery, your nonverbal gestures? You got to be able to communicate, man, and listen. You can't be huffing and puffing, throwing your hands up, and they don't want to listen. It says a lot about you and your commitment to duty. The
yeah,
uniform doesn't say it's got your name to peg you, but you are representing somebody before us, representing the people here and now and the people that are coming after you. You have to set the example, and then they start listening. And I know it takes a lot to break down the roughness off people because it took a while for me. I was a while of me when you met me. I
yeah.
thought it was okay to put hands on soldiers, which I know it wasn't. But listening to people, man, it helps. What are you laughing for?
I'm just listening, man. I'm just listening. See, I know you're on the old Army boxing team and all that. I'm just listening. Yeah. But no, man, I really appreciate you, man. I really appreciate you. One thing that has been ongoing, while we're serving, right? We love soldiers, service members, the different, on a different of circumstances, maybe it's in combat or something, whatever. But suicide is something that is rapid within the veteran community, man. I think the statistics
Yep.
state that in every 21 seconds, a veteran commits suicide. And that's a space. I know you've been pretty big in, you've been supporting things you and Derek has LLC to give back to the community and just talk about suicide and some way we can go to reduce the number of veterans who committing suicide on a daily basis so far. I mean, if you can talk
Yeah.
about what you and Derek are doing so far in terms of the suicide space and the things you've been doing to assist veterans, cope with different situations.
Okay. Okay. This journey because Derek was the first sign too, man. When we were talking, because when Derek hit me up, Derek Bazil, he's the CEO of the Bennett Beast Movement LLC, which is our LLC, is out of Charlotte, North Carolina. Um, Started this journey July 23rd, 2016. pushing to help bring awareness to veteran suicide. And I have not stopped. Today, I'm still going, and it's 3,190th today, I think it is, if I'm not mistaken. I'll check it today because I haven't done my push-ups yet. But it's to give back to the soldiers that are hurting because we've had so many friends, not
Yeah.
people just we know, friends that have taken their life, of the stresses in life. One case in point, man, I cannot make this up, man. People think that again, it's like it must be nice. I'm gonna use that because it segues into why we do what we do. I communicate with people all the time. I've had random people call me. They see my videos and say, "Hey, I need somebody to talk to. I don't know you, but I see your videos all the time. I'm about to take my life." So one lady had a gun. She already clicked it, and I talked to her. She went to video. She said, "I don't know why I'm talking to you, but something on my heart said call this guy." Called me on
Mm.
Messenger. I went and told my wife. I said, "Hey, this young lady getting ready to call me. I got to talk to her." She talked about she said, "Go do what you do." And she's still here today, man, celebrating her life, man. I mean, and that's been like 3.5 years ago. And that's not the first time I've had a call because they said, "You man, you're very impressionable. You're easy to talk to." I said, "I've been with the same woman over 20 some years. I gave my life to the army for a quarter of a century. Just listen." And it's very heartfelt because I've had soldiers that worked for me, man, that took their life. And we both had this certain soldier that took their life, man, that worked for us. But the thing about it is, man, I'm involved because for our LLC, we go to the community in Charlotte. During COVID was real bad. We were handing out meals and talking to wayward people and telling them how to get on their feet. Because all of that, some people don't want to hear people's story. Everybody has a
Yeah.
story. And you got to listen, man. And if people revisit the values and moral and ethical code, it'll be better. These soldiers, man, need help. I told a story about the soldier that was in my PTSD group. I went and got help, and that's why I do. Seymour went and got help, and he'll tell you now, man, go take care of your mental health. Go
Yeah.
talk to a therapist. Whatever. A lot of people are afraid of that. It has a stigma that falls in. Young man that was in my PTSD group, man, because I did anger management first. Yes, me, I had to do anger management.
Not
That was two
surprised.
months, so that was I did that because of my wife, man. My sister told me you need to go talk to somebody. And found out I had to go to anger management, so I went there 2 months and it talked about a lot of things I didn't know that was going on with me. And that was each day for 2 months, so that was like every day for 2 months of an 8-week course. Then I started the PTSD group. Then I had the one-on-one. So I did a lot of talking to therapists and everything, and people realized. So this is the way I am to know how to communicate with people because I used to look at the therapist. No one knows D.L. Webster like D.L. Webster. I used to say
Yeah.
that, but they're a physician. That's their job. And talking to people, I shared that with the group, the LLC. Had a guy named Eric sat right beside me, man. We were in PTSD group. He was there one day, known him for like months, man, and then he was gone. The doc called us and said,
Mm.
"Hey, uh, Mr. Eric's gone. He just graduated and he blew his brains out. He
Mm.
took his life." Sorry to sound so graphic like that, but the thing about you never know. So that's why it's good to communicate and check on people. Out here, even in the civilian sector, I had to do wellness checks to guys in my PTSD group. They done got drunk, then kicked the girlfriend out, cursing the neighbors out, almost ready to get beat up by their neighbors, saying a lot of stuff. And they called me. He said to call you if he ever in trouble. I get there and just happen to know the officers because I'm pretty good with the community officers and firefighters there. And he said, "Hey, big guy, I'm gonna let you talk to him a little bit because we want to put him in the drunk tank." I'm just available but never convenient, man. And to see people that you think are right up here, and people just struggle, man, every day. And
Yeah.
Derek shared it. Derek got a plethora of stories like I have, man, about people that you think are doing well and people posting pictures. I know you don't do social media. People, "Oh, I'm living my best life," and they're dying slowly inside, man. Smiling right here, man. The inside is like, don't even know because you don't talk to them. That's why I love the fact when you call and we talk, you don't tell something about Z, man, about Zoka. He'll FaceTime you. He don't like to talk on the phone. He'll FaceTime you because he want to see. Hey, let me see if this guy's okay. And
Absolutely.
that's why I love that about my brother,
Yeah.
man. And I wish that more people had a Z in their life, man. Seriously. Not even trying to stroke your ego, man, but I
I'm
wish more
sorry, man.
people had a person like you. Huh?
It's reciprocal, right? Like the old 13 Bravo, they reciprocate, right? It's the same process. You
Yeah.
call.
Look at
You
you.
call you yeah you call it check up on me, man. That's the guy in the back of my
Yeah.
mind. And but yeah, I think
Yeah.
for me as I look at it entire as far as the suicide and suicide awareness, suicide prevention, because the military, the army, of course, we can speak from the army perspective. You go through all this suicide
Yeah.
training. We have behavioral health personnel that is embedded in the organization to assist soldiers and whatever the case may be. The stigma behind it, I do believe to some extent prevent folks from seeking help. I think if I'm not mistaken here, I think more folks commit suicide outside the military than in the military because those are all
Yep.
invisible wounds that you cannot see. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I know you're not an expert on it, but for what you've been observing so far, what you've been seeing since you transitioned, dealing with different situations and within the whole, suicide prevention space, what are some things, if you have anything that you believe the army can do to help soldiers, what I mean, to prevent the level of suicide we've been seeing so far across the board in terms of veterans.
Be more impressionable as leaders. I really think the Army has dialed it back on the organization so far as like, yeah, we got policies and everything. It sounds good, briefs well, but at the end of the day, do you know your soldiers? Do you know when you check on them? It's sad to say, man, that I know right now I check on a lot of people, man, because I know they hit me up and told me certain things. I just call them up very, very randomly. And I think if like when they have these sensing sessions, don't do sensing sessions because you hear something bad going on. Do them to keep the good going on.
Yeah,
But the sensing sessions have to be very, very impressionable in small groups. They say, hey, I just want to check on you, make sure, tell me your concerns. Z, you and I have done this forever and a day, man. It's natural to us to check. Plus, we have kids, we have families. The Army is your family. That's the biggest family you have. And you don't care about them? That's a big issue. And, people are worried about, I'm not even going to get the hairstyles and all this good stuff, man. I just want to know what the root, when we say get back to the basics. The basics is the concept of discipline and courtesy, man, all the way around. Without discipline and custom courtesy, you don't have anything. You have mutiny and uncontrolled chaos. Um, I think that they need to get back that sitting down and talking to one and be more impressionable, be humanize the rank, really humanize. Because if when we were in, I know people like, man, you're so approachable, this and that. Yeah, I still rip your head off, but I want you to be able to talk to me.
yeah,
I don't read your mind,
yeah,
And I think that's what they need to get back to, man. And people like, oh well, they got our hands tied, man. I'm gonna tell you, I'd rather have my hands tied and be able to communicate effectively than to sit back and watch things happen and rot from within. It's very disheartening. And you know what I'm talking about. I'm going to leave it alone. But it's
yeah.
very disheartening to know that we serve with so much distinction and honor and commitment to duty and our personal courage and just to take care of people. That's why, like what we're doing now, selfless service continues, man. We're
Yeah.
both retired combat vets, man.
That's
You
amazing,
retired
man.
CSM, me retired first time, man. So,
That's amazing. That's amazing. So I know the army is going on, right? We did our time, we transitioned, the army keep going on, but we still keep in contact with folks that are serving, and you read the
yeah,
news, and a lot of things have happened
yeah,
in terms of different changes. That's what the army is. The army is going to keep changing, right? Because when we first came
yeah,
in the military, guys who came before us, from World War II to the Vietnam vet, oh, the guys are soft or whatever. Things have changed so far.
yep,
What do you know now so
yep.
far in terms of all the changes that's taking place in the military, all the changes that's happening? Uh, 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 how will you assess, right? I mean, it's a pretty broader question. How will you assess the state of our army today? You know, in,
Um,
in terms of
to me,
its
it's not good. For me, the adaptability is gone. The
okay,
adaptability is gone. It's almost not it's always not even there. Because I get a lot of calls, a lot of calls. It was at an alarming rate, and they email me first and say, "Hey, just want to see if you got some time next week. Did a little 30-minute call." And I'm like, "Sure, just let me know, and I'll text them my number because I don't give my number out freely, because some people have called me back to back to back to back to back. I'm like, hey, I still got a family. I still got grandkids. I still got to work here, you know. But I love helping people, and my wife knows that. The adaptability, man, and the understanding, breaking it down, giving people a chance to tell their story. Because anytime somebody came in the UCMJ, they told their side of the story. We don't get that now. It's like this is what they get, this and that, and soldiers don't have anywhere to say because soldiers feel like they're being spat on in a way. And I've heard this from all aspects. Soldiers will ask for help and then they'll backdoor the NCO. One recently, that's what's fresh off my mind right now. When I got told what I got told, I was like, "This happened," and they want to get rid of the soldier. I'm going to take this soldier out of my platoon. That's your leadership. That's what leadership is about. Art of influence. The influences soldier to do right. Why are we doing this? So they got a kid. Yeah, they got the same thing they want to do right for the kids. So that kid, that person, that soldier is your surrogate child.
Yeah.
You do right by them, they'll do right by you and their
Right.
child. You have to have a way to manipulate thought, man. And it's sad, Z, because this is coming from a lot of seniors that are calling and ask me these things, man. And I'm like, I didn't have nobody back then. I just saw by example. Old crusty platoon son, come here, Webster, move on stage, smoke. And I love to do that because they said, man, squared away. You get your hind part shoes, man. You're like, I'm gonna do right next time, But people put their emotions into it. Soldiers get chewed now. They have a vendetta against the senior NCO or the sergeant. Well, I'm gonna go see my sergeant. I get called at this all the time, man. I'm like, are you serious? I can't lie, person. Yeah, I'm like, wow. So it's about breaking it down to how the Army works and not shunning people, humanizing the rank, stop walking around. I got promoted this for a reason. That's your point system.
Yeah.
You can promote any rank, but that accountability and responsibility speaks volumes. That's your credit. And once that's shot, you don't get nothing, man.
Yeah, those are all good points, man. I tell folks, the Army standard have not changed at all. What I may have not changed so far, just the customer courtesy still remains the same. Just the
Yeah.
point you just made so far, right? If you look at, not sure if it's an individual issue or collective institutional issues, some things have changed in terms of, in terms of how the Army, when it comes to just uniform and X, Y, Z. But the core essence of the Army, right, so far, the core essence, really, if it comes down to it, is to train, prepare you for combat. That's what it comes down to so far.
Yep.
That has not changed at
Yep.
all. And that requires a lot of level of discipline, a lot of commitment, and a lot of things comes along with it so far. And if you was to provide some advice, right, to folks that are serving today, officers, NCO, warrant officers, in any area, what would be some advice you would give out to the force and stuff like that out here?
Um, don't take it personal. The Army is a machine. You and I both know we're retired now. They're still going. There's a first sergeant missing, but there's a first sergeant there. There's a sergeant major going, but there's another sergeant major there. The Army is a machine. We were a cog in that machine.
Yeah.
The cog got replaced. It might be a ragged cog, it might be a good cog. We don't know. But the machine is still rolling. So to anyone out there thinking that it can't go on without them, sadly mistaken. So don't take it personal. It's a business. Be business minded by making sure you're putting out a good product. Quality over quantity. I said this before because it used to be a thing to say when people were laughing about how I said it to the brigade commander. I believe in quality all day long. I'd rather produce quality more than quantity. You like, oh, my numbers, I got this many soldiers, but how many of those soldiers are quality? You know what I'm saying? To all the leaders out there, man, I really hope they just take a look back and just look in the mirror and say, man, this ain't about me. I say that to this day, Z. It's not about me. When I push, guys hit me up, man. Thanks for something. Roethlisberger hit me up the other day.
Man.
Yeah, he's a master. He said, Top, he said, I still watch your videos. He said, man, you know what? I was an E5, E6 back then. Now I'm a master sergeant. You've been retired 10 years, so thank you, Top. And I said, man, we're all in this together.
Yeah.
I push for all of us. But just the fact, I had to get that name because I know that's one of your guys.
Yeah, I remember Roethlisberger pretty good. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. So when people hit you out of the blue like that, man, this is just a few days ago. So that's why it's fresh on my mind. Be an example, man. Be a catalyst for something other than bullcrap out there. Focus on the mission at hand. Accomplish the mission and the welfare of the soldiers, and everything else will work out. Don't take it personal. And I think a lot of the young leaders out there are good, but they throw their emotions in, and I don't like the way this person talking to me. Man, if they got talking to the way we did, Z, I don't think they'd make it, Z. Good.
It's a different environment, brother. It's a different environment, man.
I know, man,
it's
but
different.
I tell them, they ain't going to talk to me like this.
Yeah. Okay. I appreciate you, man. I tell folks, I tell folks to say, we all that are serving that we are considered expandable, right? The Army's going to go on with you or without you. And some leader have for some reason adopt this idea, it's all about me. Nothing can work without me. No. The Army is going to go on with you or without you. So while you're in the position of any, Yeah, while you serving, man, it is your responsibility to make sure, like you said, you give all you got. Support the team.
Uh-huh.
Train soldiers the
Yeah.
best way you can, and just be humble. It's don't make it about
Yeah.
you. It's not about you. It's
Yeah.
never gonna be about you because at the end of the day, you're gonna do your time. You're gonna remove yourself from the situation. I'm gonna keep
Yeah.
going on so far. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, any
Yeah.
last words, man? Anything else you want to add to the discussion for today?
Uh, um, I just want to say thank you for having me on here. Because I tell you, man, you've been one of those pillars, man. I keep right there, man. I tell you, I'm blessed. 10 times over, man, to call you my brother, man. Because I always tell people, you meet people in life, everybody needs a Z, man. Everybody needs a brother like Z.
Same to you, brother. Same to you, man.
You know,
Like I said,
but
same to
thank,
you. Same to you. I
all right,
love
man.
you,
Just
man. I
stay straight, man.
appreciate you. I appreciate you, brother. And as I keep saying, man, thanks for your service. Thanks for what you do in terms of the whole suicide prevention and
Yeah,
putting lights on it. Just advocating for veterans out there and
yeah.
soldiers. And I really
We
appreciate
need
you.
it.
Thanks for being part of
Yeah,
my life, man. I appreciate you, man. Take care and God bless you, brother.
yeah. Hey, I love you, my dude.